morning everyone, this is Paul Wong, Radical Coaching, and welcome to Breakfast of Champions. I hope you've realized by now that we're not really serving you breakfast through the computer screen, but we're really giving you a mental breakfast that we hope is going to help you develop the habits and the mental attitudes of becoming a champion. Today I want to talk to you just right about that. What kind of mental breakfast are you giving yourself? Most of us, we want to live healthy, we want to feel good, we want to live long, and therefore we take care of our physical health. We know that drinking can destroy our liver, smoking can destroy our lungs in the long term, and therefore we refrain from these things because we want to be healthy physically, right? So most of us, we believe in having a good, balanced physical diet. Now, today I want to really challenge you. Take a good look at your mental diet. What do you feed yourself daily? What's the breakfast, lunch, and dinner that you feed your mind? Because your mind feeds on knowledge and information, just like the body feeds on food and water. So here at Breakfast of Champions, we're really talking about how you can feed yourself the great stuff, the champion stuff, physically, mentally, emotionally. Because whatever you feed yourself, that's what you can produce. And we need to be a champion in all these three areas to really have total health. Physically, we feed on food, drinks. Mentally, we feed on knowledge and information. And emotionally, we feed on relationships. And the quality of that with which we feed ourselves becomes what we produce. To be a champion, we need to feed ourselves the best, so that we can be the best to make a difference in this world. I want to focus on mental health today, right? And similarly to physical health, one of the biggest challenges and distractions to be healthy is often junk food. Right? Junk food is designed to be very, very tasty, very attractive, very addictive, and yet with zero health benefits. If you are planning to lose weight or you are planning to gain weight, usually your biggest challenge is probably, yes, going to be discipline to do exercise and things like that, but on the food side, the diet side, it's going to be junk food. And mentally, it's the same thing. There is mental junk food and there is real mental good food as well. And I want to challenge us, all of us, to really rethink what are we feeding ourselves daily, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and more. So what do you feed yourself? What's your breakfast of champions when you get up? Is it the email? Do you run to check your email immediately? Do you run to check your Facebook, your social media? Do you read the newspaper immediately, and what do you do? And is that really the good stuff that's going to build you up mentally? I'm here to propose to you that those things are actually more junk food, really. And they are a good addition to your diet, but there are more important things that you may need to feed yourself. And a book I want to recommend to you is Today We Are Rich by Tim Sanders. You can see it at timsanders.com. Tim Sanders was the previous Chief Solutions Officer at Yahoo, and now he's an entrepreneur and he's a speaker. And this book, really, I just read the beginning chapter, and I just think it's excellent. He's touching on the aspect of mental diet, and he really just writes in a very easy to read way. So I highly recommend this book. You can go and check it out yourself. Right? And he talks about how a lot of people generally we don't think about our mental diet, and therefore we're always running on junk food. We just, and life becomes very tiring, we're restless, we just can't seem to be still. Because you see, junk food tastes good for the short term, but it does not satisfy your needs. It's the same physically. If you eat a lot of junk food, tastes good, but in the long term it just doesn't satisfy you. Mentally it's the same thing, right? Junk food fills the stomach, fills the mind rather for a short while, but it just doesn't satisfy you. It's going to be the same thing emotionally, but we'll touch on that another time. Right? So, are you feeding yourself the right stuff? Are you feeding yourself good books, good motivational, inspirational books that is going to build you up, it's going to help you become the man or woman that you're meant to be? Right? You got to set aside time to feed on these things. The first thing you can do to make this practical is take a very good look at what are you feeding yourself right now, in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening. Right? What's your mental diet like? analyze that and really be honest with yourself. Are you feeding yourself the good stuff? Are you feeding yourself the right stuff? Or are you just feeding on junk food? Are you just going on the internet and just getting drawn away? You know, usually we live in a very, very fast-paced environment right now. You go to Facebook, you go to blogs, you go to the internet. One link will lead to another link and to another link, and then before you know it, you've spent a lot of time eating a lot of information that really actually was junk food and doesn't really help you. And a lot of these articles really are designed or written in such a way that they want to draw the reader in. And that's good, of course, if it's the good stuff. But if it's really useless stuff, then you're feeding yourself a lot of junk food. Right? So I want to challenge you to take a good look at that. What are you feeding yourself? Breakfast, lunch, dinner. And what can you do starting today to maybe remove some of that? If you're feeding yourself a lot of junk food, maybe you need to cut it away and say, you know what, I think this is not going to help me long term. I'm going to stop reading that website. I'm going to stop listening to this guy's blog. I'm going to stop looking at these articles. Or in my Facebook, maybe there are certain people that always post a lot of negative comments and a lot of information that really just doesn't build you up. Maybe you need to unfriend them, as Tim Sanders says in his book. You need to unfriend some of them. You need to filter out what are you going to eat, like what are you going to digest and what are you not going to digest. Right? And if you take responsibility for that, that's the first step to really moving towards a champion mental diet. So that's your challenge for you. That's, I guess, your assignment or your responsibility this week. You know, take a good look at your mental diet. You know, and we ourselves, we're gonna do it for ourselves. Our team, we do it all the time. We always challenge ourselves to have a champion mental diet. So have a great week. Have a great mental diet. Right? And I'll see you next week. Okay.